Hello everyone, Genki here. Last November, I decided to celebrate the end of Gen 8 of Pokemon by beating the game with only the first forms of Leon's team. And y'all seemed to really enjoy it. Like, a lot. So, I decided to try the challenge in Pokemon Scarlet. To those who have not seen the Leon challenge yet, for this video, I can only use the first forms of Geeta's team. Also, no items in battle, only held items and items outside of combat are allowed. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. We start the challenge by heading east to catch our first Pokemon, Skiddo. I was blank on coming up with a nickname, so I named her Nanny, which is the name for a female goat, according to Google. She's level 16 and quiet nature, so more special attack, less speed. Her ability is Sap Sipper, so if she's hit with a grass move, it gives her an attack boost. However, we can't start the challenge here. We have to go west, past Cortondo, where we can find Flittle. I named her Frills. She's level 17 in hasty nature, so more speed, less defense. Flittle is already pretty frail, so this might be bad. Her ability is Anticipation, so she'll notify us if an opponent has a super effective move. With this, we have all the Pokemon we can catch with 0 badges, but I'm not optimistic. Both Nanny and Frills are weak to Bug, which just happens to be the typing of the first gym. So, I accidentally overload Frills and pick up the TM for Bulk Up before challenging Cloth. 2 Terra boosted Razor Leafs from Nanny in Phase 1. For Phase 2, we start with Worry Seed to get rid of Anger Shell, especially since we were already at almost half health from a crit Vice Grip. Cloth goes down in 2 more turns. Time to finally face the Bug Gym. I start with Frills, who one-shots Nimble with Pluck, one of the moves we learned through our earlier incident. Tarantula is also a one-shot, but last is Teddiursa, who survives Pluck at half health. Teddiursa then goes for Fury Cutter, which takes Frills to only 5 HP, but Frills outspeeds, so we win. Next up is the Grass Gym, and for this one, I start with Nanny, who I taught the TM for Bulk Up. Brassius Petalil can't touch Nanny, as it only knows Mega Drain and Sleep Powder. We set Bulk Up, but by the time Petalil went down, we were at +4 attack thanks to Sap Sipper. Smallwood was a one-shot, but Sudowoodo is still tanky as ever. Thankfully, so is Nanny. 3 total Razor Leafs take out Sudowoodo. Now, usually at this point, I would be challenging Team Star or our second Titan. However, we need our third Pokemon, and Bombardier has a type advantage with it being dark and flying. So we went searching for our third Pokemon. And, nope. Thankfully, we eventually found a Pawniard. I named him Private. He's level 27 in Terra Steel. He's Rash Nature, so more special attack, less special defense, with the Inner Focus ability, so he can't be flinched or intimidated. With Private on the team, I decided to go face Bombardier, since Steel resists all of Bombardier's attacks. 2 Terra boosted Metal Claws in Phase 1. However, thanks to Noctis Rock Throw, Phase 2 Bombardier also goes down to 2 Metal Claws. Next up is the Dark type Team Star base. I decided to leave a Private against Giacomo's own Pawniard, but with no super effective moves, I went for a neutral effective Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter gains power every consecutive use, so 3 Fury Cutters take off Pawniard, and last is Giacomo's Starmobile. The Starmobile has Intimidate, but it is negated by Private's Inner Focus. The Starmobile is faster, it goes for Wicked Torque, which puts us to sleep? I've done how many playthroughs now? And that has never happened before. It's apparently a 10% chance, but still. Thankfully, we wake up the next turn, but the Starmobile had hit us with Metal Sound, lowering our special defense. Its Snarl then leaves us on 12 HP, but it goes down to 2 Fury Cutters. With one base done, I have to skip the Fire base, since we have 2 Pokemon weak to Fire. So head to Levencia, where we have a Nemona battle. Nanny one-shots Rockruff and Palmy, and last is Quaxwell. Quaxwell outspeeds and goes for Workup. It then survives Razor Leaf on the Sliver, which causes Quaxwell's wing attack to one-shot Nanny. Frills finishes off Maxwell. Time for the Electric Gym. I started Frills, who gets taken to 28 HP from one spark, but is able to take out Watchful and 2 side beams. Next is Luxio, so I switched to Nanny. Luxio's Intimidate cuts our attack, but we bulk up to reset it. 2 Bulldozers take out Luxio, and out comes Belly Bolt. Nanny resists all of Belly Bolt's moves, so we heal a Synthesis before setting up 2 more bulk ups, and taking out Belly Bolt with 3 Bulldozers. Last is Miss Magius, who starts off with a Confuse Ray, but Nanny doesn't hurt herself, and takes Miss Magius to below half health for Bridge Relief. Miss Magius then goes for Hex, which takes out Nanny, but 2 Metal Claws from Private finish off Miss Magius. Next up is Earthworm, but 2 Low Kicks from Private easily end Phase 1. For Phase 2, Low Kick still does good damage, but there a second Low Kick got crit. 2 Grass Knots from Toad School finishes off Earthworm. Before Earthworm, I had tried the Water Gym, but we were not ready, so it's time for a grind session. We start by eating an electric counter sandwich, and heading east of Mezagoza, where we grind on Shinx, Pumbies, and Knocklys to raise our team's attack stat, speed, and defense. We did that for an hour or so before re-attempting the Water Gym. It still took a few tries though. Against Veluza, I had Frill set up Reflect, just for her to get crit one-shot. I then sent out Nanny to tank Veluza's Plucks and Slashes with Bulk Up and Synthesis. After 4 Bulk Ups, Veluza's Slash gets a crit, taking Nanny to yellow health. But then Veluza goes down to a one-shot. We go for Synthesis against Waltrio before one-shotting it and Chromodile. With 4 badges now, we can catch our 4th Pokemon, Bergmite. I named him Ice Pop. He's level 38, in Serious Nature, so neutral stat gains. His ability is own tempo, so he can't be confused or intimidated. Time to go face our next gym, the normal gym. I start with Frills. Komala fails a Sucker Punch as we set up Reflect. Frills is holding Light Clay, so Reflect will last 8 turns. We then switch to Baby Doll Eyes to lower Komala's attack as it uses Yawn. We get 2 Baby Doll Eyes before falling asleep. We were asleep for 2 turns, but when we finally woke up, we kept using Baby Doll Eyes until our Reflect wore off. We then reset our Reflect before switching to Nanny. Nanny then got hit with Yawn, but we set up 2 Bulk Ups. Nanny had a Chesto Berry, so the sleep was negated. However, we get hit with another Yawn as Yanni one-shots Komala. Against the Dunsparce, we go for a 3rd Bulk Up to buff our defense more as we fall asleep again. After 1 turn, we wake up and heal with Synthesis, but our Reflect wore off. Seed Bomb takes the Dunsparce to a quarter health, but then the Dunsparce takes us to below a quarter as we set up another Bulk Up. Despite our low health, the Dunsparce goes for Glare, allowing us to heal with Synthesis. The Dunsparce goes down the next turn, and next is Staraptor. Staraptor has Intimidate, so our attack boost is lowered. Seed Bomb takes Staraptor to a quarter health, but Staraptor is faster, so Nanny goes down to 2 Aerial Aces. I send out Private, who tanks Staraptor's Facades and takes it out in 2 slashes. With 5 badges, we are immediately put into a Nemona battle. Lycanroc outspeeds Frills, so we didn't get a chance to set up Reflect. I send out Nanny and go for Bulk Up, but then we got a crit, one-shotting Lycanroc with Seed Bomb. Gumi is next, and Nanny outspeeds, so we can heal with Synthesis, but Dragon Pulse hits hard. Nanny goes down to a crit. Ice Pop survives Dragon Pulse at below half health, and one-shots Gumi with Avalanche. Pommel hits Ice Pop with Thunder Wave, but we're still able to use Recover. We then went for Curse, and after 2 curses, we one-shot Pommel with Avalanche. Last is Quacklevolve. We had leveled up after Pommel and replaced Avalanche with Blizzard, because I forgot Curse doesn't affect Blizzard. It didn't matter though, as Quacklevolve outspeeds, it takes out Ice Pop and Private. If I had more time to prepare, I could have probably won that, but oh well. Time to catch our 5th Pokemon, Glimmet. In the Alphanada Cavern, Glimmet is a rare spawn, so I decided to use a food with a rock encounter boost. Also, I specifically want a rock Terra-type Glimmet to match Geeta. Nope. and third time's the charm. I named her Bombflower, because these little buggers know self-destruct. She's low in nature, so more attack, less defense, with the Toxic Debris ability, which scatters toxic spikes every time Glimmet is hit with a physical attack. Just looking at our defense, it looks like Glimmet will only get one layer of toxic spikes before fainting. I think it's time to continue the Team Star quest line. We had been challenging Mela multiple times before now, but our fire weakness was too much. However, Bombflower is so strong that it one-shots both Torkoal and the Strongbill. Next is the Poison base, and this one took a few tries. I started Private against Skuntank. Private is immune to poison, and resists Sucker Punch. I taught Private Dig, which takes out Skuntank in 2 hits. Next up is Rev Room, so I switched to Frills to step Reflect, and use Baby Doll Eyes before going down to 2 assurances. I sent out Ice Pop, who tanks 2 Sludges, before taking out Rev Room and 2 Bulldozes. Ice Pop was poisoned, so I switched to Nanny for Muck. We go for Boca, as Muck's Sludge Wave takes Nanny to red health. Bulldoze only took Muck to half health, so Nanny went down. Private finishes off Muck and lasts his Strongbill. The Strongbill uses its super effective Flame Charge, but the Rain plus our Reflect reduced its damage. However, the Rain ended, and then our Reflect ended. Dig then decided to do only a little damage. Thankfully though, Private was able to tank the Flame Charges. The healing from leftovers helping out a lot, as we take the Starbill to a 5th of its health before Private goes down. I send out Bombflower, who dispels the Starbill's toxic spikes among entry. We then Terrestrialize, but the Starbill outspeeds and does big damage with Spin Out. Power Gem finishes off the Starbill. At this point in the playthrough, I decided it was time for another grind session. This time, we have more than one special attacker, so I used the Mareeps and Smolives west of Mezagoza to boost Bombflower, Frills, and Ice Pop special attack. Yes, Ice Pop too. My plan is for him to be more of a mixed attacker. Also, we used our usual grind spot east of Mezagoza to train Nanny, Private, and Ice Pop. Along the way, finding a shiny Shinx. Full odds, by the way. Well, after about 45 minutes, I decided to take on Great Tusk, who was the reason for our grind session. I start with Private. Yes, the Dark Steel type versus the Ground Fighting type. This is because Great Tusk chooses its moves randomly, and this time it goes for Knockoff, as we hit it with Metal Sound, lowering its special defense. However, Great Tusk then one-shots Private with Grip Break. I send in Nanny. Great Tusk Knockoff takes Nanny to below half health, but we set up Leech Seed. Great Tusk then uses Rapid Spin, taking Nanny to red health and dispelling our Leech Seed. However, Terra Boosted Horn Leech takes Great Tusk to half health, but then Brick Break takes out Nanny. I send out Ice Pop, who tanks Knockoff, and goes for Blizzard, finishing phase 1. For phase 2, we start with Nanny, who had set up Leech Seed. For some reason, Great Tusk only focused on Scavillain, who got in 2 Razor Leafs and a Scary Face before going down. By now though, Great Tusk was in low health, so 2 more Horn Leeches, equaling a total of 4 throughout the whole battle, finish off Great Tusk. Time to go back to facing the gyms, and I'm thinking the Ghost Gym is our best choice. I start Bombflower and Private. Mimikyu hits Bombflower with Shadow Sneak, but Banette failed Sucker Punch, because Private hit Mimikyu with Metal Sound, and Bombflower set up Stealth Rocks. However, the next turn, Mimikyu and Banette doubled into Bombflower, taking her out. For Private, I had to use Night Slash, taking Banette to red health. I sent in Nanny. Mimikyu hits Nanny with Slash, but no Sucker Punch from Banette, so it goes down to Night Slash. Nanny then breaks Mimikyu's disguise with Horn Leech. Rhyme sends out Houndstone, who is immediately poisoned and damaged by our entry hazards. Houndstone is then one shot by Private's Night Slash, while Nanny's Horn Leech leaves Mimikyu on 1 HP. Last is Toxtricity, who is not affected by Toxic Spikes. Toxtricity goes for Discharge, which causes Mimikyu to faint. Private does get paralyzed though, lowering his speed. Nanny's Horn Leech then leaves Toxtricity on a Sliver, allowing Private to finish it off. With 6 badges now, it's time for our next Nemona battle. I lead with Private, who resists all of Lycanroc's attacks. 2 Meta Claws take out the doggo, but are actually down from Sand Attack. Next is Palma, who outspeed and does big damage to Spark, which also paralyzes Private. However, Private was still able to move, and Slash takes Palma to 2/3 health. Private goes down the next turn, so I send out Ice Pop. Palma goes for Thunder Wave, but we never get paralyzed, so 2 Bulldozers take out Palma. Next is Sliggoo. Sliggoo outspeeds and hits Ice Pop with Dragon Pulse. However, Ice Pop survives on 1 HP thanks to Friendship. But then our Blizzard missed, causing Ice Pop to go down next turn. I send out Bombflower, who gets Sliggoo to red health with 2 Power Gems, but Bombflower goes down to 2 Water Pulses. Sliggoo goes down to Frill's Psybeam and last is Quackaball. I switch to Nanny. Quackaball is faster and takes Nanny to 46 HP with Air Slash, but then Leaf Blade leaves Quackaball on only 1 HP. Skittle goes down, and all I have left is Frills, who outspeeds and takes out Quackaball. Time for the Psychic Gym. I start with Private, since Farigiraf can't hurt it that much, allowing us to take out Farigiraf in 2 Night Slashes. However, next is Gardevoir. We immediately Terrestrialize to resist the upcoming Dazzling Gleam, which still takes Private to almost half health. Metal Claw one-shots Gardevoir, and next is Espathra. Espathra goes first and takes Private to red health with Shadow Ball, as we lower its speed with Scary Face. We then go for Snarl to lower Espathra's special attack before going down. I then send out Bombflower, who takes out Espathra with a single Power Gem. Last is Florges, so I send out Frills. Frills outspeeds and sets up Light Screen, causing Frills to survive Moonblast. Our Psybeam then does barely any damage, but it does make Florges confused. However, Florges did not hit itself, so Frills goes down. I send out Bombflower, who survives Psychic and red health, but Power Gem was only just chipping away at Florges' health. The next turn, Florges finally hits itself, so we take Florges to 1/3 of its health before going down. I send out Ice Pop, who survives Moonblast and finishes off Florges with Avalanche. With our 7th badge, we can finally catch our final Pokemon, Veluza. I named him Sailboat, because his fins remind me of the sails on a ship. He's Calm Nature, so more special defense, less attack, with the Mold Breaker ability, so our opponent's abilities cannot limit our move selection. Time to face the Ice Gym. I lead with Sailboat and go for a signature move, Fillet Away. Fillet Away doubles Sailboat's attack, special attack, and speed in exchange for half his maximum health. I did this because I knew Frostmoth would start with Tailwind. Our speed boost bypasses Tailwind, so we easily one-shot Frostmoth with Pluck. Beardick is next and survives Aqua Cutter, but we survive Earthquake on 30 HP. Another Aqua Cutter takes out Beartick, and out comes his Titan. Aqua Cutter takes that Titan to below half health, but Ice Spinner finishes off Sailboat. I send out Frills to set up Reflect, but Ice Spinner then Priority Ice Shards takes out Frills. I send out Ice Pop, and because Ice resists Ice, Titan only used Liquidation, which Ice Pop tanked easily. During this time, we spam Chilling Water, lowering Titan's attack. We got off 4 Chilling Waters before going down to a crit. The attack drop thankfully allowed Bombflower to tank Liquidation, but then also got a defense drop. Power Gem finishes off Titan, and last is Altaria, so I decided to switch to Private. Altaria has Moonblast, so I terrestrialized Private in order to resist the attack and hit Altaria with Scary Face. Altaria then missed its Hurricane, allowing Private to take Altaria out in 2 Metal Claws. With the gyms done, I think it's finally time to go buy some mints. I bought a Timid Mint for Frills. This will keep the speed boost, but now her attack is down instead of defense. I also bought a Serious Mint for Sailboat, so now his stat gains will grow equally. Time to face Dondozo. I start with Nanny. Dondozo's Body Slam does 2/3 of our health, but we healed a little with Horn Leech. Dondozo then uses Aqua Tail, which we survived in red health. The next turn, Dondozo uses Water Pulse, which we also survived. However, we became confused, and fainted from confusion damage. I send out Sailboat next, who takes out Dondozo with 4 Psycho Cuts. For Phase 2 Dondozo, we decided to go for Leaf Blade, but then Gradient went for Tail Whip twice, so we decided to terrestrialize, which caused Leaf Blade to leave Dondozo on a sliver. He went down to Greedent's takedown. For Tatsugiri, they went for taunt on Greedent's first turn, so no tail whips. However, we managed to set up bulk up. Tatsugiri also only hit Greedent, so we were still at full health when Greedent went down. However, Tatsugiri at this point is only at 3rd HP. Tatsugiri's Icy Wind takes Nanny to 1 HP. We didn't even survive thanks to friendship. Icy Wind just happened to do 130 HP. The next turn, Tatsugiri used Taunt, so it went down to 2 more Leaf Blades. Time to finish off Team Star, starting with the Fairy Base. I lead with Bomb Flower, whose Sludge Wave left Azumarill on a sliver, but she went down to a single Aqua Tail. I sent in Nanny, but Azumarill went for Bounce, so I switched to Sailboat to tank the bounce. However, Sailboat got paralyzed. Aqua Cutter finished off Azumarill and next is Dash Bun, so I switched to Ice Pop. Dash Bun immediately got poisoned by Bomb Flower's toxic debris. I then went for Play Rough, which takes Ice Pop to half health, and gets an attack drop as we set up Curse. We then survived Dash Bun's next Play Rough, but Avalanche only leaves Dash Bun at just about half health. Ice Pop goes down, so I send in Nanny. Dash Bun decides to go for Baby Doll Eyes, so our attack is down, but our Leaf Blade takes Dash Bun to red health. It goes down to poison damage, and next is Wigglytuff. 2 Play Roughs take on Nanny, but Poison and Horn Leech and left Wigglytuff at half health. I send out Frills to set up Reflect, as Wigglytuff's Play Rough takes Frills to below half health. Psychic finishes off Wigglytuff and lasts into Starmobile. Magical Torque takes off Frills, so I sent out Private. Private, when terrestrialized, resists all of the Starmobile's moves, so we easily take it out in 4 Metal Claws. Last is the Fighting Base, and as usual, this was the hardest of the bunch. I started Frills against Toxicroak, who failed the Sucker Punch as we set up Reflect. The Reflect helped us survive Toxicroak's next Sucker Punch on 15 HP as we one-shot it with Psychic. I switched to Nanny for Lucario, who did big damage with Aura Sphere, but Bulldoze lowered its speed. I switched to Private, who takes Lucario to red health before going down. Lucario goes down to Dazzling Gleam for Bomb Flower. Next is Passimian, so I switch to Sailboat. Passimian goes for Seed Bomb, but we terrestrialize getting rid of our water typing. We then went for Fillet Away. Psycho Cut then proceeds to one-shot Passimian and Annihilate. Against the Starmobile, a single Psycho Cut took it to half health, but that activated Stamina, raising the Starmobile's defense. The Starmobile spin out, leaves Sailboat on 8 HP, but because of Stamina's defense boost, the Starmobile survives her next attack. Its Sailboat goes down. Frill's Psychic finishes off the Starmobile. Time for Lead 4. Against Rika, I led with Nanny. Wish Cuts outspeeds. It takes Nanny to red health, but is a one-shot by a Leaf Blade. Yes, you heard right. Wish Cash outspeeds. Next is Camera Up though, so I switch to Sailboat. Camera Up and Dugtrio are one-shots, but out comes Donphan. Donphan survives Aqua Cutter at above half health, but goes down next turn to a crit. Last is Clodsire. I switch to Nanny, but Clodsire survives Leaf Blade. So Nanny goes down, but Ice Pop finishes off Clodsire. Next is Poppy, but this was not looking good. Poppy's steel Pokemon are just too thick. Time to go shopping. At Chasey Supply, I bought proteins for Sailboat and Private to improve their attack stats, Carbos for Nanny to improve her speed, HP up for Frills to hopefully allow her to survive more attacks, and Calcium for Bomb Flower to raise her special attack. Sorry, Ice Pop. I also bought a Serious Mint to finally rid Nanny of her minus speed nature. Let's go try Poppy now. I decided to leave with Frills to set up Reflect, as Caparaja sets up Stealth Rocks. Frills then gets off 2 Baby Doll Eyes before going down. I send out Private, who had recently learned Swords Dance. Thanks to Reflect and Baby Doll Eyes, Private was able to set up 3 Swords Dances, while taking high horsepower. Caparaja, Corviknight, and Bronzong are all one-shots. Magnezone, however, survived a one-shot thanks to Sturdy, and took out Private. Sailboat finished off the Magnezone, and last is Tinkaton. Tinkaton's Play Rough left us on 105 HP, but our Fillet Away activated, leaving us on 6 HP. However, Aqua Cutter only took Tinkaton to just below half health. I sent an Ice Pop, but he only got off a single Chilling Water before going down. Nanny finished off Tinkaton in 2 Bulldoze. Time for Larry, and guess what? More level grinding. Well, 2 or 3 more levels on everyone later. I start out the battle leading with Private. We go for Snarl twice, lowering Tropius' special attack. Tropius then used Air Slash and Dragon Pulse. Yes, Dragon Pulse. But then we switched to Iron Defense, which we used 3 times before switching back to Snarl. We got Tropius to -6 special attack before setting up 3 Sword Stances. Is this crazy? Yes, but it works. We finished off Tropius with Rock Gym. Next is Staraptor, the reason for our insanity. It outspeeds and hits us with close combat, but we terrestrialize, so the close combat only did 2 times damage rather than 4 times. We survived the hit and one-shot Staraptor, but then Altaria outspeeds and takes out Private with Flamethrower. I send out Sailboat and Step Agility as Altaria heals with Dragon Pulse. Altaria is a one-shot with Ice Fang, but then Oricorio survives at below half health, so Sailboat goes down. Frill's Psychic finishes off Oricorio. Last is Flamigo. I had Frill set up Reflect, but she was still one-shot by Brave Bird. I send out Ice Pop, and our Quick Lock activates, letting us hit Flamigo with Chilling Water, lowering its attack stat. Ice Pop then survives close combat at green health. A second close combat, leaving Ice Pop in red health, but then our Blizzard lands, finishing off Flamigo. Last of the 4 is Hassel. I lead with Ice Pop, who got a Quick Lock activation first turn and one-shot Norbert. Haxorus is next, so I switch to Frills. I had Frill set up Reflect, but Crunch still takes us to only 3 HP. We go for Baby Eyes before Frills goes down. I send out Private, and Haxorus Dragon Claw is doing almost no damage, so we again set up 3 Iron Defenses and 3 Sword Stances. Haxorus is then a 2-shot with Rock Tomb. Dragalge missed its Hydro Pump, so we're still in full health when it also goes down in 2 hits. Flapple is a one-shot and last is Excalibur, whose Brick Break takes us to almost half health, but it also goes down in 2 hits. Finally, it's time for Geeta, and this battle was insane. To start the battle, we led with Private, and immediately terrestrialized to resist Espathor's Dazzling Gleam. We then go for Scary Face, lowering Espathor's speed. We set up 1 Sword Stance before one-shotting Espathor and Avalugg. Veluza is next, so I switched to Frills. I had Frills set up Reflect, but Liquidation still took Frills to below half health. We then used Baby Little Eyes, which helped Frills survive Ice Fang. We go for 1 more Baby Little Eyes, but then we survive Aqua Jet thanks to Friendship, letting us use Baby Little Eyes 1 more time. I sent out Nanny, who thanks to Reflect and attack drops, is able to set up Bulk Up, but then we got frozen. Thankfully, we were only frozen for 1 turn, so we could continue setting up. We go for a total of 3 Bulk Ups before one-shotting Veluza with Horn Leech. Next is King Gambit, who does sizable damage with Kowtow Cleave, but is a 2-hit KO with Bulldoze. Next is Go-Go, who misses its play rough, so it's an easy 2-hit KO with Zen Headbutt. Last is Golmora, so I switched to Sailboat, who is level 70 for this very reason. Veluza needed to be level 70 just so it can outspeed Golmora, who goes down to a crit. Next up is our final Nemona battle, and here's how that eventually went. I led with Frills, but despite her being our fastest Pokemon, Lycanroc is faster. Thankfully, it missed its Stone Edge, allowing us to set up Reflect. The next turn though, Frills goes down to a crit. I sent out Sailboat, and Lycanroc again misses its Stone Edge, giving Sailboat a free agility. Sailboat now outspeeds, giving him the ability to easily one-shot Lycanroc and Palm. Next is the Dunsparce, so I switched to Private. However, as we set up Sword Stance, the Dunsparce gets a crit, bypassing our Reflect. I sent out Ice Pop, who tanked Hyper Drills and lowered the Dunsparce's attack with Chilling Water, but after 2 turns, our Reflect ended, so I had Ice Pop set up Snow Escape, as the Dunsparce goes for Coil to try to reset its attack stat. Blizzard does less than expected, but we get the Dunsparce to half health before Ice Pop goes down. I sent out Sailboat. Hyper Drill does good damage, but thanks to a crit, 2 Psychic Cuts take out the Dunsparce. Next is Earthworm, so I switched to Bomb Flower. Our turret boosted Power Gem gets a crit, while Earthworm survives on Sliver. Earthworm's Iron Tail one-shots Bomb Flower. Sailboat finishes off Earthworm. Next is Gudra, who's immediately poisoned by Bomb Flower's toxic debris. Two Ice Fangs take out Gudra and Las's Quackaball. I switch to Nanny. Quackaball's Ice Spinner leaves Nanny on 32 HP, but Hornleech takes Quackaball to half health. Nanny goes down and all I have left is Sailboat, who outspeeds and takes out Quackaball with Psycho Cut. That's one story done. Time for Director Clavel. I start with Private. We go for one Swords Dance as Oranguru goes for Yawn. Night Slash one-shots Oranguru, and Archers to Berry activates so we don't fall asleep. Next is Gyarados. Night Slash takes Gyarados to red health, as Earthquake takes Private to red health. Gyarados goes down and next is Abomasnow. Priority Ice Shards takes out Private. I switch to Bomb Flower, who one-shots Abomasnow with Power Gem. Poltergeist only burns Bomb Flower with Will Whiffs, so it's an easy 2 KO. Amogus then does big damage with Hex, which surprised me, but it is also 2 KO. Last is Skeledirge, so I switch to Sailboat, who takes out Skeledirge and 2 Aqua Cutters. Next up is Penny. I start with Private and set up 2 Swords Dances as Umbreon spans Dark Pulse. Umbreon, Flareon, and Vaporeon are all one-shots, but then Jolteon outspeeds, and then Thunder finishes off Private. I send out Nanny. Jolteon hits Nanny with 2 Baby Doll Eyes, but 3 Bulldozes take out Jolteon. Leafeon is next, so I switch to Bomb Flower, but Leafeon outspeeds and gets a crit which one-shots Bomb Flower. I send out Ice Pop, who takes out Leafeon and 2 Blizzards. Last is Sylveon, who gets poisoned by our toxic debris. I sent in Sailboat, but Sylveon went for Baby Doll Eyes, which causes Psycho Cut to leave Sylveon in green health. Our next Psycho Cut then leaves Sylveon on a Sliver, which causes it to faint to poison damage. That's 2 stories done. Last is Arven. I leave with Private. Greedent's Earthquake does big damage, but it is a 2K with Brick Break. I switch to Nanny for Garganacl, who survives Terra Boosted Hornleech, but only sets up Stealth Rocks. It goes down and next is Scavillain, who is a one-shot by Bomb Flower's Sludge Wave. Sailboat then one-shots Toad Scroll, and Bomb Flower one-shots Cloister. Last is Bostiff, who takes out Bomb Flower with a crit Psycho Fang. Private also gets taken out. I had Frill set up Reflect, but she was still a one-shot. I sent out Nanny, but Mabostiff's Psycho Fang takes out a Reflect. Hornleech does good damage, but Nanny goes down. I send out Sailboat, who gets a crit, finally taking out Mabostiff. With this, we can finally go to Area 0, where we have to battle Ayasada. I leave with Frills, who gets off a Reflect before going down to Lunge. I then bring out Private and immediately Terastallize, as we set up Iron Defense. We set up 3 Iron Defenses and 1 Swords Dance, and for some reason Slitherwing never used its super effective low sweep. Aerial Ace one-shots Slitherwing. Groupon then survives Aerial Ace, which allows it to take out Private with Earth Power. Bonfire finished up Groupon, but then Reflect wore off. I forgot to switch for Sandy Shocks, but Nanny only gets hit with a resistant Earth Power. 2 Hornleeches take out Sandy Shocks. Screamtail is next, so I switch to Sailboat and go for Fillet Away. Our Citrus Berry taking us back to barely green health. Screamtail is a 2 KO. Fluttermate is a 1 KO, and last is Roaring Moon, who is also a 1 KO. We beat Pokemon Scarlet with only a first form Geeta team. Man, that was tougher than expected. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.